So while we're arriving and just waiting a few moments for folks to join us, let's just take a few slower, deeper breaths and feel our body, ground beneath us, where we're touching earth in our seat or our feet on the floor. And maybe as we breathe out, we just put on the shelf or let go or let be the momentum of what we're in for now, as we align with our deep intention for this session to support Grandmother Earth, Mother Nature, our home, this great being, this great spirit, this ancient one that sustains life, the sacred web of life that we're part of, this extraordinary complexity and amazing, unfathomable nature. And we're dedicating and devoting this session to remember and support and engage and express our love and devotion with the call for a sustainable world, equitable world. So welcome everyone, welcome friends from Sunday Sangha. So glad you can join us in this endeavor. We'll begin with chanting. Just put that in directly. It's not the chanting booklets. We'll just do a couple of mantras today, so we have time for our focus on Earth Day. So the first one, Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang, one day, to honor, to align with refuges. And the second mantra is, oh, I spelled that wrong, Namo Quan Shu Yin, Usa. So we'll begin there. So aligning with this deep inner Buddha knowing presence, Dharma contemplating the nature of all things, Sangha, this point of practice to turn suffering into liberation, and the historical Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, this great gift, this great triple jewel, as we pay homage. Buddha, 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 one day, Dhammang, 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 one day, Sangha, 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 one day, Buddha, Dhammang, Sangha, one day, Buddha, 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 one day, Dhammang, 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 one day, Sangha, 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 one day, Buddha, Dhammang, Sangha, one day, Buddha, 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 one day, Dhammang, 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 one day, Sangha, Sanghang Sanghande Buddha Dhammang Sanghang. And then for this special gathering, where we're dedicating ourselves to a sustainable world for all beings, in gratitude to our great grandmother, Mother Nature, Grandmother Earth, and we call in Kuan Yin, the one who contemplates at ease the sounds of all beings and responds with great compassion and mercy. We call in the stream of awakening, all protectors in the subtle realms, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the elemental beings, to be present and to also call in stream of awakening, ancestors that help and support the health of all, the healing of all at this time. So focusing this prayer within the mantra, the honoring of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, aligning with this deep inner listening, the seat of Kuan Yin within all hearts. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, and Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, and Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. Thank you, dear friends. Welcome. So, just being present together as we unfold our reflections, our offerings for this day. And for those of you here as our guests, please, and our Sangha, please feel welcome to put in the chat where you're calling in from, anything you would like to share. And meanwhile, I'd just like to introduce you to our dear guest and fellow Sangha member and practitioner, Dharma practitioner, Linda Lamson. Linda is the founder of Yoga for Climate Action. And Yoga for Climate Action is a collective made up of practitioners who share a desire to address climate change that is causing so much suffering on our planet today and into the future, while we look to modify our lives to be more sustainable. We also look to organizations to tackle big issues like government programs and international consensus on action. By participating in Yoga for Climate Action, we are raising our communal voice to empower change for the better. So I'm just reading from the website, which we'll put in the chat shortly. And Linda, great welcome to you. So glad you can be here. Linda is a member of the Dharmapala, Sacred Mountain Sangha's Dharmapala training, has founded Yoga for Climate Action with this vision to establish a community of practitioners with this common goal of helping care for the planet. Linda teaches yoga and meditation from your home studio in Northern California. It's a great honor to have you with us, Linda. And just to mention anything you'd like to share that is chanting and so on, to remember to put the original sound on so that we can, yes, in the corner of your square. Okay, welcome, Linda. Over to you to share a bit more about this wonderful initiative that you've started. And we'll be supporting particularly Amazon Watch. All the donations will go to Amazon Watch. So grateful also to hear a little bit about Amazon Watch. Thank you so much, Linda, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Thanissara. And can everyone hear me all right? Yeah? Okay, great. Such gratitude. Thank you, Thanissara, for your guidance and for your light. For those of you whom I have not met, my name is Linda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm living on the unceded ancestral land of the Tatkan people. That's part of the Bay Miwok tribe, and that's here on in the foothills of Mount Diablo, east of San Francisco. And I'd just like to bring into our circle the brave men and women who have kept the Dharma alive all these generations. They've guided us to mindful presence. Their blessings are warm. And I'd like to bring into our circle the purple finches and the spotted towhee who sang me awake this morning. It's a privilege to gather in this way. And with that privilege comes obligation. And I'd just like to share with you a Shantideva's vow, which I actually chant every morning to remember. So I'll do that now. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. For as long as space endures and for as long as living beings remain, until then, may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. So when I thought about the climate catastrophe, I really felt overwhelmed and immobilized. I didn't really know what I personally could offer. But I also recognized that I had a sincere desire to give up and let go of my complacency. I was really called to sit with that. And, you know, as meditators, we know that tapping into this inner stillness, we can access our awakened heart, perhaps be called to wise action. And of course, recognizing the importance of Sangha, I knew that this had to be a collective effort. So I approached some of my yoga students and my fellow practitioners, Sarah and Juna, said, "You go, girl." And Yoga for Climate Action came into being. And Thanissara, you have just been an amazing ally since the very beginning. So thank you for your support, for the support of all the members of Sacred Mountain Sangha. Regarding yoga for climate action, yoga here is really the broad term of yoga. It's not necessarily yoga asana. It is about yoking the mind and the body. So when we can do that in so many different ways, right? Yes, if we're yoga teachers, we could teach a yoga class. If we're meditators, we can hold a mindfulness circle. We can prepare a vegan meal for our friends. We can go for a mindful walk. We can hold a dance party, listen to music together. There's so many opportunities in which we can come into the felt sense of what is happening now, what is true now. And Rachel Wolkin says, surround yourself with people that reflect who you want to be and how you want to feel. Energy is contagious. And of course, Thanissara, in your book, Time to Stand Up, you say, don't wait for an ocean liner. It may never come. Instead, each of us can make a simple raft. We can do a lot, even in small ways. And all of our rafts together can turn the tide. So I just finished a course of study with activist Tim Ream, really inspiring teacher. The course was called Practice to Action. And he talks about the fact that activism is about care, it's about community, it's about empowerment, the self-transformation that comes from overcoming obstacles. And that actually means that we may need to risk some of our privilege and put ourselves out there. And so this is exactly what all of the members of Amazon Watch are doing. Today's celebration or gathering is in support of Amazon Watch. They are one of the 4 climate action organizations that the Yoga for Climate Action Collective is in alliance with. And they are just doing fantastic work. They are a collective as well, and been working together for 3 decades with relationships with the Amazonian people and peoples. They're really defending our that rainforest, our true heart pump of our planet, and they're really looking at indigenous rights, supporting the web of life there. And their work is amazing. They're right in the moment. There was a recent blog on their website where they're joining with 200 representatives of indigenous peoples, traditional communities, NGOs, to form a powerful coalition to halt and counter the advancement of a mega railway that is being proposed that will cut through the rainforest. And so they're pressuring Cargill and other big ag industry, working with the government to halt this what would be devastating to the rainforest there. So they're just doing amazing work. So Thanissara has always been such a supporter of Amazon Watch. So thank you for donating all of the proceeds for our gathering together today to Amazon Watch. And I think that's it for me. That's what I'd like to share. Please feel free to remember that we're coming together for an Earth Day gathering, but in fact, Earth Day is every day, and it's never too late to become a part of this movement. I love the fact that right in this moment we have Niël from South Africa and Sumedha, you're calling in from France. We have members from states all over the United States and participants in England this year as well, Great Britain. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Thank you, Linda. And yes, I just want to also mention that in the last 2 months, Yoga for Climate Action has raised $20,000 to your 4 organizations. And this so that the classes and things we can host, people can donate, make a donation, or you can have a suggested offering. And then that goes straight into Yoga for Climate Action. And it's a collaborative that decides together where to put the funds so that everyone has a voice in that process. And Amazon Watch has been high on the list, and with 3 other organizations, which you can explore. The link is in the chat. So we'll be looking at ways to get behind what Linda has initiated and keep building out and supporting, because this is a kind of level of engagement that we can all do. Actually, we can figure out something to host and put some money in, and it accumulates very rapidly, and it really makes a difference. And I've got a lot of responses from Amazon Watch expressing incredible gratitude for both this initiative and the other ways that Sacred Mountain Sangha have gotten behind and supported and done benefits for this vital organization. So thank you so much, Linda, for inspiring us, for giving a structure and a platform and an initiative that we can easily get behind and help spread the word. So we'll be sending out that, and encourage you to spread the word and invite others in to support as a collaborative event. So thank you. And just to also, like each of us here that you're seeing highlighted on the screen, are going to make an offering. Then we're going to open the space for any offerings you'd like to make at this time for this focus that we're engaged with. So I'm going to pass to our dearest beloved Sumedha, who is a longtime ally, Sacred Mountain Sangha, and Dharmagiri in South Africa, was a manager there for a year, and co-founder of Ekutleni Eco Center in Southwest France. Sumedha, thank you so much for being with us, and to hand over you to carry us forward.
Oh, thank you, and lovely to see everybody, and I feel really grateful to be here, and to Linda for your amazing initiative, and to Thanissara and SMS for bringing this together as well. So I'll offer a short guided meditation. So just helping us to land here all together, and really with this sense of this beautiful sense of gathering around honoring this earth that we're part of. So I also really love in the story of the Buddha's awakening, it said that when he is just at the point of awakening, and he's challenged by all sorts of forces of delusion, so Mara comes to challenge him, and he touches the earth as his witness to his awakening. So we're part of this mutual web of life where our own awakening is deeply interwoven in this world. So we both learn in this world, and we give back from the awakening heart. As Linda was so beautifully pointing out, bringing our mind into connection with our body. This living, breathing body that often somehow the mind jumps out of. Consciously bringing our attention into our body and down towards to touch the earth. Letting ourselves slow down into the different rhythm, the different time, the different way of knowing our body brings. Almost imagine our roots going down into the earth like a tree. Inviting us to settle and arrive here in a connected way. I really love that one of the translations of Namo is can be we're honoring, and another translation is I return my life. And by giving our attention, we return our life back into the sense of interconnectedness, sacredness of this life that we're part of. We touch the earth with our body, our heart, our listening. As we breathe in, we can breathe in the support of this life that we're part of. The forest, rainforest in the Amazon that gives oxygen, that sustains the ecosystem, gathers water, the lungs of the earth. As we breathe in, we're breathing in the air that is shared, the oxygen that is produced, and it's nourishing our own body. As we breathe out, what do we want to give back? How do we want to be here in this connected web of life? Even in just starting to bring our attention to our interconnectedness, we can be starting to honor, starting to create a space where we're more aware of how we may create well-being or we create harm. So just in bringing our attention into our body, in connection with the earth, listening to what this brings us, we can start to respond in a more connected, way, a way that sustains life, that supports the release of suffering. Of harm. And really honoring our intention in both coming to an event like this and in coming into our meditation, and be connected together. We stay present in this event as we move in our lives. We can keep connecting with the earth, keep honoring, keep touching this web of life which both sustains us and which we can give our heartful listening into. Breathing in that which the earth gives us and breathing out our honoring our creation of spaces of freedom from fear, freedom from affliction, and actions which support that. And end the meditation there.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Sumedha. Feel a lot more arrived and grounded and connected. And so inviting Elaine, dear Elaine, to thank you so much for being with us. Elaine is also a dear friend and a very, very long time practitioner for many decades in the lineage of Master Hsuan Hua, and was a nun ordained by him for 30 years as Hen Yin. So, and Elaine has transitioned into lay life, and fortunately for me, lives locally. And we've been on many activist fronts. And Elaine has been with Carol, who's one of our Sangha members, also has been fronting up a Sitting for Survival weekly sitting on the pavement in Santa Rosa, calling for awareness for climate engagement. So Elaine, it's such an honor to have you with us, and handing over to you to share and take us on into our focus. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thanissara, for the introduction and for everything that you do. And thank you, Sumedha, for that very beautiful meditation. I love your meditations. They really help me, bring me into the body and into the connection with the earth. And I hope that we can keep that connection throughout this whole session. As I wanted to just offer a few reflections and lines from Mahayana Sutras to maybe help with this paradigm shift that we are trying to bring about, shifting from what's called the Anthropocene that we're in now, this age of very human-centered and very materialistic way, to a more animistic, maybe you could say, because the Buddha came into the world in India and also later in China, Central Asia, and back in that time, everything was a lot more alive. I mean, the perception of the world was alive. And so I just wanted to share a few lines from the Mahayana Sutras, which give some voice to um, or some idea of how nature is full of kind and beautiful spirits who are often bodhisattvas, trying to help us awaken and trying to keep, negative forces at bay, inner and outer. There's actually no firm boundary. And yeah, so let me just cite a few lines. And from the Avatamsaka Sutra, there's a chapter where it describes how worlds come into being, not only through the karmic activity of sentient beings. It has lines that say that when our minds are turbid and fettered by delusion and fearsome karma, then our thoughts pollute the oceans of lands, maybe the galaxies. But if our minds are pure and we are cultivating blessings and virtue, our thoughts can partially purify the ocean of lands. And when the aspiration for awakening, bodhicitta, arises in countless beings, all of those thoughts, intentions can bring eons of constant purity to the oceans of lands. But it's not only what living beings do karmically, but also the vows of bodhisattvas and buddhas, the practices, good roots, self-mastery, and spiritual powers of the awakened ones. Those also determine the state of our world. So by calling upon awakened beings for aid and cultivating the Dharma ourselves, we can make an impact on the world, while also taking activism in whatever way we can. Awakened beings appear in earth-based forms to inspire awakening. In the Earth Store Sutra, which is the name of Bodhisattva, the past vows of Bodhisattva, Earth Store, or Kshitigarbha, Shakyamuni Buddha says, I may appear as a mountain, as a forest, as a stream, as a spring, as a river, as a lake, in order to benefit living beings. I use all these ways to save living beings. Master Hua says, if you wish to see the Dharma body of the Buddha, then contemplate the mountains, rivers, and the great earth. They are all the Dharma body of the Thus Come One. And the first chapter of the Avatamsaka, where it's describing the assembly that is listening to the Dharma, it includes bodhisattvas appearing as earth spirits, wind spirits, fire spirits, sky spirits, night spirits, day spirits, mountain spirits, forest spirits, river spirits, ocean spirits, crops spirits, medicinal herb spirits, and space spirits, and also spirits for the directions, and even city spirits, in order to awaken living beings. The fire and water, and everything else has spirits kind of overseeing them. The water spirits, for example, direct the flow of water and prevent floods. So in this sutra, the name of the spirit describes her beneficial activity, which can be both physical and spiritual. For example, river ruling spirit universally cleansing springs purifies the spring waters, which is also a metaphor for getting rid of sentient beings' afflictions. Crop ruling spirit, accomplishing wonderful fragrance, creates all kinds of wonderful fragrances, and when beings smell them, they reform their ways and aspire to Bodhi. Forest ruling spirit, helping trunks grow tall and pouring forth light, helps the trunks of all trees to grow taller day by day. She emits a pure light that clears defiled thoughts and emotions. And perhaps this is a way to describe the energetic grounding and clarity we feel in the presence of a tree. Ground ruling spirit, universally scattering myriad gems, knows that sentient beings like precious things, so she scatters them everywhere. And Master Hua gave instructions sometimes about our sessions for either meditation or recitation. And he would say things like, the atmosphere now is very polluted. There's a poisonous energy brewing in this, which can't be dispelled. We can only sincerely ask the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to shine their light and cause the invisible but lethal toxic energy to disperse. Therefore, all our spiritual practices have a direct impact on the state of peace or danger in the world. So when we do any kind of activism, to come to it with this ground of practice, that also has a direct impact. And reciting the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' names can potentially transform deep habit patterns in our consciousness. And also, Master Hua he was speaking several decades ago, so he used the analogies from that time. For meditation, he said it's a way of cleaning up pollution. So he said, we cultivators of the path should use a kind of electrotherapy to detoxify the air. What is electrotherapy? It means sitting in meditation and emitting a light of wisdom from our meditative state. This light of wisdom is a form of electricity, and when these waves pass through the air, they detoxify it. They transform contaminated air into clean air. Well, I just wanted to share those few quotes, and thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. I just, just reminding us we're in the consciousness of everything, even the unseen realms, is our interaction through this mind and the power of that as we practice. Thank you so much for bringing that to us, these beautiful quotes and reminders. So to welcome Michael. Michael is an incredible ally and dear friend and longtime practitioner, and is our executive director behind the scenes, and has really offered so much support and helping us turn the wheel of the Dharma with a central focus for responding to these times. So gratitude to you, Michael, and welcome. And thank you for being with us. Michael's just sort of emerging from a bit of a cold for the last few days. So we're hoping his voice will stay with us too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Thanissara, everyone. Very honored to be here. Very honored to share reflections. So many of you I've started to get to know over the past months, and good friends who are here. And Elaine, I'm just marveling at just how seamlessly you present these ideas, and I love it. I mean, it's just, I could listen to you all day. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to actually share a few things. I've been a little bit in the same vein as what everyone's been sharing. I know my voice sounds bad, but I'm feeling much better than I sound. So no worries there, folks. I'll just share in the chat. I'd like to start with a quote from Wendell Berry. And this is a quote many of you will know. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And I know this quote's been attributed to many different people in the past and used many times, but Wendell Berry's definitely one of the sources who talked about this a lot. And this is an idea I've been sitting with for some time, this idea of the earth as home, what we call home, a place that I take care of, a place that I inhabit because it's my home. This idea that what I own is mine, and this reflection, even though it's very simple, it really takes me back and into a deep place. And just recently I was talking to Sumedha, and Sumedha, you were reflecting on the monastery and how in the monastery they were always moving. So you wanted to make the space better for the next person. There was always this idea of tending, of holding space and creating and tending and bettering in any way that you can. And it was a very powerful thing for me, and it takes me back to this reflection that I want to share with all of you. And as I share this, I also want to invite you to tune into your own reflections, because as I share this story, I know that all of you have your own version of this story of engaging with nature, whether as a youth or an adult or however. But for me, it's a childhood memory. My grandparents lived in West Virginia, which, for those of you who know, it's a very mountainous region. Blue Ridge Mountains, lots of land, lots of countryside. Very interesting place. I was actually born there, though I never officially lived there. I conversely grew up in big cities. I grew up in Philadelphia and lived in these big cities, which were so much different from where my grandparents lived in West Virginia, and we would visit them in the summers, and I was fascinated. I was fascinated by the mountains and the trees and the animals, especially the deer. I can remember pressing my face to the glass of the car as we would drive and just looking to see which animals I could see and try to see deer. And oftentimes you would. There were a lot there. And my grandpa, who was such a central figure in my life in a very strange way, not such a direct way of on the nose, like he taught me this and taught me this and taught me that. It's something different. He was from another time. He lived in a town that had a handful of people. I mean, there may be more people on this call than actually lived in his town. And we always laughed about that. And he grew up in another time. He grew up in what we would consider poverty. They had to grow their own food. They had to live with the land, not off of it, but with it. They had to interact with the land. They had to understand how to grow things. They had to understand how to, filter their water, how to interact in a way that was very much collaborative with the earth. And so when I would go to visit him, I can remember we would sit on the porch, and we would be looking out at the mountains and the meadows, and he would tell stories. And I remember just the cadence of his voice. He had this deep voice, and the cadence of his voice and the creaking of the rocking chair. It was like a song for me. And he would tell me about when he was young and how they would take their water from the Ohio River, and how they would make these little kind of things with rocks so that they could catch fish for dinner. And it was amazing to me even at that time, because at that time the Ohio River was completely polluted. I mean, you couldn't put a foot in there really safely, and even today it's even worse. And he was part of an era that was coming to an end, and that always fascinated me. But he gave me these things which I would only liken to like a Buddhist transmission, in the traditional sense, where a Buddhist teacher gives a student a transmission, and you may know and you may not know that you're receiving it, and the teacher may know or may not know. And it just comes from someplace deeper. And he shared with me this vision of what the earth was not so long ago, and how humans interacted with it not so long ago, right here in this country, where we all live, where we've all grown so disconnected. So what I want to offer and what I want to leave everyone with is just this image of Earth, not so much as a home where we have to fix the roof and replace the plumbing and all that kind of stuff, but that we're actually a part of this living entity, that we are a piece of this, we are an appendage of this, we are a contributor to the life of this living entity that we coexist with, that we are a part of. We talk about the trees and Sumedha, that beautiful meditation, thinking about the trees and how we interact and how we're in relationship together, how we need each other. And I think of the plants and what we get from the plants in the earth and the plant medicine. And it's not giving us wisdom, right? It's sharing something that it wants to go through us for the whole. And as we can shift our lens and kind of adjust how we think of this place, I think it can become easier and easier for us to see what the clearest path is. So thank you all very much for listening.
Wow, thank you so much, Michael. It's so beautiful. I felt like I was sitting there in the rocking chair on that porch. Yeah, thank you. And it wasn't remind me of my grandfather from East End of London, and how whenever we would visit, and then later when they retired and moved to Bournemouth, whenever we would visit, the first thing before we went to the house would he have to show us all the garden, both the flowers, but also the vegetables, and that living with was natural and ingrained, and how quickly that shifted from us, you know, to we don't know where things come from, you know, where when you buy, you know, there's this disconnect. So the reclamation of these roots is really a big part. And I would like to talk about the roots and also make an offering from the deep roots of the lands that I'm on here, and where many of us here, of the colonized lands of the US. But I also want to mention Niël is not going to offer right now, is going to offer at the end, but I want to also honor you, Niël, being here present with us from the lands of Southern Africa, of South Africa. And a deep, deep connection on the land of Dharmagiri, of the San people, Khoisan people, so-called Bushman peoples, that you are so rooted into and connected with. So I look forward to your sharing a little bit later in our gathering. So yes, first of all, to really honor that we are on land that was stolen and under great duress to the indigenous peoples. And, you know, the reclamation, the remembrance of this is really important as we heal and reconnect and revision how to be together on this earth. So I'd like to read a Hopi prophecy that was offered, and play a piece of music by Nick Barbacano, who is honoring the spirit of the earth, the great spirit of Gaia, of Pachamama. So I think I'm going to share this text so you can also see it as I read it. You'll be familiar with this, of course, but it's also always good to come back to it. We are the ones we've been waiting for. You have been telling people about this 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth, create your community, be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for your leader. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that some will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we need to do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
Wakantanka Tonkashila Omakiayo 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 Great Spirit, eternal light, calm our souls, warm the night, when all seems lost and nothing's right. Great Spirit, eternal light. Gran misterio del universo, Omakiayo, 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 Wakantanka Tonkashila Omakiayo 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 Great Spirit, eternal light.
Right, just taking a few breaths, deep breaths. Thank you for asking about the poem. I don't know the source. It just says Hopi Elders Prophecy. I don't know the exact person. This doesn't seem to be a record. There may be. I haven't come across it myself. So yeah, so thank you so much for all the contributions. We'd like to open the space for you, if there's anything you would like to say, a poem or an offering you'd like to make to further and deepen and widen and open out our connection with this great deep spirit, this home, this garden that we're in, and our, to express our deep devotion and deep desire to do what we can to sustain our life here and the life of all beings in the way that we know we'd like to see our higher dream, that we can realize that and bring that into being. Yes, it came back in about 24 years ago, that poem came out. Yeah, thank you, Carol, for that. Thank you. So yes, if you'd like to share, that you can either put your hand up, the reactions button at the bottom, which may be the easiest way to see you, or you can wave. Though we're on two screens at the moment, so we may not see you wave. Or you can just butt in when there's a space. So over to you, dear friends. Please do feel anything that moves you now, anything that you've brought with you to share. Please feel free to do so.
Mia raised her hand, I think.
Hmm?
Mia? Did Mia want to share? No, okay.
Yulia, greetings.
Yes, good morning. I am so happy to be here. I just returned last night from a trip with my family, my daughters and their children, my grandchildren. We went to the Grand Canyon, and we were there last Sunday, a week ago. And a Hopi woman just happened to be there that morning, and she greeted my two daughters and me. And she was a young Hopi woman. And she spoke about just, she hadn't been to the Grand Canyon to visit for many years, but that day she needed to come and she needed to manifest. And it was so touching, the three of us, the four of us, my two daughters, myself, and this woman, standing at the rim of the Grand Canyon and listening to her voice about her ancestral connection with this land that, of course, has been taken over, where her people lived for many years. And I think there are some who are now living in or near the Grand Canyon. But she taught us about she had some grains of corn that her niece had specifically prepared and given to her. And then she gave us some grains of corn into our right hand, and we held them up to the sun. And then we said, let's see, Yeppe, up to the sun. And this was an offering back into the earth and the connection with the ancestors. And it really was such a sense of connection. And I want to link that to, we took a whole week. We visited Bryce Canyon and Zion. I don't know if you've ever been to those places. I never had. in my 85 years, but I did get a chance to go. And then, as it turned out, my daughters had completed the itinerary by us driving back to Las Vegas. And that was it. I had such aversion to being in Las Vegas, and it felt like I had visited the lands of heaven, the Pure Lands, and then was cast into the depths of degeneration and just the worst experience. And it was difficult because we were there almost 24 hours, and it was hard to be. It was just really hard to see the worst in humanity in this area that we were in, Las Vegas, and the contrast between where we had started our journey and meeting this woman from the Hopi Nation to ending it there was it's difficult to be awake and to be human in these times. And I just wanted to bring those images to you because we had seen such beauty all week long. And then we came back to having to be in this crazy place, and this place where there seems to be a complete loss of connection to our own. I mean, I'm making a judgment, but what I saw was just beyond tolerable, having come from the beauty and the sense of connection to the earth and the appreciation, as Wendell Berry was saying, that we don't own this. We don't own any of this. We haven't inherited any of this, but that we're here to just appreciate and take care of. And so then it was so assaultive of all my sensibilities to actually go to this other place. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. Carol?
Thank you so much, everyone. Hearing what you all are saying has brought to me a recitation or chant that we do in the Zen Sangha that I belong to all the time. And I wanted to share just a little bit of it for all of you. It's what actually, I think hearing this is partially what caused me to consider becoming a Buddhist many, many years ago, because it was so loving and of this earth. And it's called Tori Zenji, the Bodhisattva's vow. Tori Zenji was a Renzai Zen master in Japan around 1600 or so. And it starts off, when I look deeply into the real form of the universe, everything reveals the mysterious truth of the Tathagata. This truth never fails in every moment and every place. Things can't help but shine with this light. Realizing this, our ancestors gave reverent care to animals, birds, and all things. Realizing this, we ourselves know that our daily food, clothing, and shelter are the warm body and beating heart of the Buddha. How can we be ungrateful to anyone or anything? Now, this next section I wasn't going to read to you because it's so challenging. It's a major challenge in my life, and I come up against it time and time and time again. But Delia, you just reminded me of it with your reflections on Las Vegas, so I'm going to go ahead with it. It says, how can we be ungrateful to anyone or anything? Even though someone may be a fool, we could be compassionate. If someone turns against us, speaking ill of us and treating us bitterly, it is best to bow down. This is the Buddha appearing to us, finding ways to free us from our own attachments, the very ones that have made us suffer again and again and again. Now on each flash of thought, a lotus flower blooms, and on each flower a Buddha. The light of the Tathagata appears before us, soaking into our feet. May we share this mind with all beings so that we and the world together may grow in wisdom.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Martha, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to share something that came up for me right now. I'm listening, and that is the element of water in prayer, in so many different forms. And it reminded me, I think it was Dr. Emoto many years, I probably saw this like 25 years ago, and how we have the power through prayer and meditation to change polluted waters. And then, the comparison of that to our own bodies that are made so much of water. And so it just kind of brought it back, and the power we have to heal through prayer, each other and our waters and our earth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your offerings. I'm going to call on you, Niël, to share this meditation and blessing of the elements. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thanissara. Hi, everyone. May I suggest we just take a couple minutes to stand up and stretch. And even if you need to go to the bathroom, just take a couple minutes to stretch, if that's all right. Let me just see where everyone went. Here we go. Great. Okay, and then just slowly making your way back. So I would like to offer a contemplation, like a guided meditation on the elements. The Buddha recommended this practice, this contemplation, as a way to see the truth of what the body is, and the way to see the truth of not self, that the self is empty. And I feel it's such a powerful contemplation because it touches on so much of what has been said. This thing of disconnection, this contemplation goes to the root of that. This theme of paradigm shift, this theme of we are the ones we've been waiting for. So this is this practice is a powerful opportunity to kind of embody the truth that we are not separate to the elements of nature, that we are in fact nature, we are the earth, and the earth is us. And it's moving beyond that level of just cognitively agreeing, understanding on an intellectual level that this is true, but it's moving towards the level of embodying that truth, the deep Dhamma truth, that the elements is us, we are the elements, and that this conceit of self is a powerful spell. So this is I want to offer it as a guided meditation. So I'd like to invite you to find a comfortable seated posture. And we'll go for about 10 minutes. If you are more comfortable with turning your camera off, you're welcome. Otherwise, you're welcome to keep it on. Okay, so finding your seat, finding comfort. If it's helpful to you, a deep in-breath and a deep exhale through the mouth. Deep in-breath through the nose. Deep exhale through the mouth. Slower, deeper, longer in-breath through the nose. Slower, deeper, longer exhale. Let's start with the earth element, the element of density, hardness, weight. Feeling your teeth, biting down on your teeth to get a sense of that element, a hardness of it. And just becoming aware of the earth element in your head. Feeling the earth element in your head, the bones. Feeling the earth element in the neck, in the shoulders, the right arm, the right hand, earth element in the left arm, the left hand, feeling the earth element in the upper torso, earth element in the lower torso. Earth element in the hips. Earth element in the right leg. Earth element in the right foot. Feeling the earth element in the left leg. Earth element in the left foot. And then just gently feeling the whole body filled with earth element. Feeling the body solid, dense, heavy, full of weight. Contemplating that the earth element in this body is dependent on the earth element outside of this body, the food that we eat, the earth we sit on, the shelter that we're in. Contemplating that this earth element in this body is not separate to the earth element outside of the body, that it's the same, contemplating that we can't own this earth element, we ultimately can't control this earth element, and that it's not self. And then radiating a gratitude towards this element in this body, towards this element on the earth, throughout the universe. Gratitude to this element for the life that it makes possible. Radiating gratitude to the earth element. Moving to water, feeling the wetness in the mouth, connecting with water in the head, water in the shoulders, the arms, the hands, water in the torso, water in the legs and the feet. Feeling the whole body is filled with water, connecting with all the water in the body. That sense of cohesion. Contemplating that this water in the body is no different to the rain falling from the clouds, to the water in the river, to the great oceans. This water passes through this body continuously. This body is dependent on this element. Radiating gratitude to this element in the body, outside the body, to the life that it makes possible. Connecting with the fire element, starting with the feet this time. Feeling that sense of warmth, radiating heat, temperature, feeling the feet radiate, feeling the legs radiate, the hips, the torso, the arms, the head. Feeling this gentle radiating of heat, fire element. Acknowledging that the fire element of the sun is no different to this. This radiating of heat is dependent on the fire element of the sun. Radiating gratitude towards the fire element. Wind element connecting with the element of movement, of oscillation, of vibration, starting again with the head, just feeling movement, element of movement in the head, the neck, the chest, feeling the breath, the hips, the arms, the legs, the feet. Just gently sensing how nothing is ever still, everything constantly moving, vibrating, oscillating. Contemplating the wind element outside of the body, how we are dependent on air to breathe for every breath, how we are not separate from the wind element. Radiating gratitude for this element in our bodies, outside our bodies, that make this life possible. And then just for a last minute or so, sitting with all the elements. All the elements in the body, all the elements outside of the body. Sitting in gratitude and blessing the elements with this gratitude.
Thank you so much, Niël. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. We're coming to the closing. There's a beautiful paintings from Sarah in the chat that I invite you to look at. Thank you so much for offering those. Cherry, did you like to say something? Don't forget to unmute.
Yeah, it's Noel. I have a poem from a great British poet, Kathleen Raine, who had a Scottish ancestry. This short poem is a question, I think a very essential question. Speaks to our theme today. It's called Self. Who am I, who speaks from the dust, who looks from the clay, who hears for the mute stone, for fragile water feels with finger and bone, who for the forest breathes the evening, sees for the rose, who knows what the bird sings? Who am I, who for the sun fears the demon dark, in order holds atom and chaos, who out of nothingness has gazed on the beloved face?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for those ancient words from the Celtic way. So it's a slightly odd echo. And I'd like to call on Linda. Linda has a closing poem to help begin to close us out. Thank you so much. In a few words.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your beautiful sharings, everyone. It's very moving. I have a poem, it's a few poems actually strung together by Kai Seidenberg. She is the founder of Our Nature Connection. She's an ecotherapist, a poet. This is from her book, Poems of Earth and Spirit. The birds sound like I feel, thrilled to behold the everyday miracle of another sunrise, eager to discover what gifts the morning will bring. Together we come into a new day. We welcome it. My heart sings and flies with them. What if the leaves, stirred to singing by the breeze, sing with even more joy when they notice you're listening? What if the small white flower quivers with delight when you notice her tiny yet honorable contribution to the beauty of this world? And what if that brief moment is all she needs to know that her life is worth living, all her efforts not in vain? What if the trees feel the depth of your pain and are quietly reaching toward you, offering solace with everything they have to give? What if the whales, diving deeply into the deep blue, can feel your love for them, even across all that open ocean? What if the water, weary from her endless journey, is replenished by your gratitude, which gives her the strength to keep going? What if the earth herself longs to feel the caress of your naked feet on her warm brown skin? And what if the granite mountain, no matter how remote and immovable he may seem, feels a quiver of joy when you are touched by his majestic beauty? Today is a very special day. Today we celebrate sun and rain, light and dark, the cycles of life, the great turning of the wheel. Today we celebrate every leaf on every tree, every feather on every bird, every drop of water in every stream. We celebrate green growing ones and winged ones, two-legged and four-legged, all that walk, crawl, swim, or fly. We celebrate each breath of air, each morsel of food, each beat of our hearts, each healthy cell. We celebrate the profound miracle of being alive in this body, in this moment, on this planet. Today, like every other day, is a very special day.
Wow, that's such a beautiful closing reflection and poem. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you. I'm really left with this from all the sharings, this deep way that we're so entangled and interwoven within this sacred web of life, and in with the great task that we're really being so profoundly initiated into, to make everything count that we do from here on in, to protect what we can, to uplift what we can, to hold dear what we can, and to root that in a complete shift of consciousness from the devotion to the individual, to understand ourselves as part of this collective, collaborative, participatory beings within this web of life, and then to move from there. And so every expression of our movement and our offering is in service of this wonderful, profound grandmother, Pachamama, Gaia, to feel ourselves as belonging within this great web of cosmology, of Gaian cosmology of life. So right from the great stars to the planting of our gardens. So thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. Thank you for all your offerings, for everything that everyone has shared to contribute to this beautiful matrix of just bringing us into the truths that we live with every day. And I'd like to particularly thank you, Linda, for being with us and for initiating this incredible project and extraordinary work that you've done so far, and the very weighty donations that you've been able to offer into these organizations. It's an incredibly well thought out initiative, and looking forward to us all being able to get behind and support in all the ways that we can. And so as we finish our reflection for Earth Day this year, making every day an Earth Day, I'd like to invite Elaine to share blessings from our event today. Thank you so much, Elaine. Over to you.
Thank you, Thanissara. I would just like to also continue to, along the lines of what Thanissara has just been saying, to maybe we can put our palms together, close our eyes, and just drink in the insights, the gratitude, the celebration, all of the sharing that we have participated in and listened to today, all the goodness that comes, that has been generated from our touching the earth and remembering our elemental connection with all that is on this earth, in this earth, and also remembering the indigenous, and may their wisdom be honored by all. May we all be able to remember and learn our indigenous roots, our ancestral ways, like Michael's grandfather, and remembering that we borrow this earth from the future generations, so that may we all tend this shared space of life, this web of life, with the greatest compassion, respect, imagination, and joy. And may we call upon all those awakened ones and those spiritually advanced ones who are our allies, who are our protectors, who are our guides. And may we also dedicate this goodness and this energy towards all of those who are suffering in confusion, delusion. May they also awaken. May they also remember and feel this gratitude, this connection, and this joy, and awaken to this connection that we are all together and we are all one, and that it is possible to completely change the world, the earth, the atmosphere that we live in, to purify it with our blessings, our vows, and our energetic presence.
Thank you. I feel moved to such an incredible blessing to sound the Om Mani Padme Hum, so we can send that blessing out far and wide. Please join me. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you so much, everyone. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for all your input and contributions and your presence. So let's go forward, as was said, in a Hopi way, in the spirit of sacredness, celebration, joy, even in the midst of the challenge that we're in, great challenge of this moment. Much love, and stay well, and see you down the road very soon.